This is Madden NFL 2014, better known as Madden 25. And this is my birthday eve live stream after work in the evening. Wife and family are decorating the living room, and I'm not allowed out. So it's time to play Madden with y'all. It's time to have a good time. Got a lot of views, got a lot of positive response on Sunday doing game planning. It's something that I take a lot of pride and have a lot of fun with. And I just thought I would chill and share my thoughts and my ideas with you. So it's something I'm going to be doing regardless. If I have 0 viewers or 1,000 viewers or whatever, I just figured I'd turn the camera on, turn the microphone on, and have my say. So here we are, and I'm going to all plays. And one of the things that sticks in my mind is asking myself the question, what does this formation do for me? And by that, I mean, like, Madden has so many plays that are just repeated over and over. And how can I word this? It's like, to a certain point, I'm like, does the formation have a leverage advantage? A tactical advantage? Does it have like a novelty play? Does it have some reason why I would use it? So the base pro formation, like the standard formation, it's got 23 plays in here. Okay. And there's a lot of repetition. Okay. And I really like I formation. I've talked about it in other videos. I've even done it in a live video. The most basic idea is if you zero out the center as literally the center of the line, you've got a guard and a tackle on each side. That's even. You've got a tight end on one side and you've got a fullback. Well, you could have, let's go single back ace. Let's just use this as like a baseline. Let's go single back. And there's ace pair. No, I don't want ace pair. Big? Sure, big. Sometimes it's called ace. So there you have the center, 2 guards, 2 tackles, 2 tight ends, and 2 wide receivers. The front is completely balanced. When you have I formation, you have unbalance, but you also have balance. Because in the basic I formation, the fullback is in an I, like the quarterback, fullback, and halfback. So if you run to the left, it's functionally not much different than having a tight end. Now, sure, you don't have a man on the end of the line of the scrimmage to double team a defensive end or hit someone directly at the point of attack, but in terms of a numbers advantage, you're even to the left. But because he starts in the middle, you're actually +1 to the strength. So that's why they call it the strong and the weak side. Right? So I really, really like the I formation. Like, it became popular for a reason, because if you run one direction, you're still even. Like here, you can see it. To the left of the center, the guard, the tackle, the fullback, there's 3 guys. To the right of the center, you've got the guard, the tackle, and the tight end, 3 guys. But that fullback can be the +1. Now you can also do power O's. I don't know where the power O is here. I'm just going to keep scrolling until we find one. There should be one in here. There one is. So now, not only are we guard, tackle, tight end 3, fullback 4, we're actually pulling a guard. We're essentially, when we say zeroing out the center is going to block backwards, like block down on the defender, like weak side, and we're going to pull a guard to get another +1 in the number game, right? So there's a lot that we're doing there. So not only are we +1 with the fullback, we're actually +2 to the play side. And we just like leave a tackle back there, and we're just like really super loading one side. We're just putting a lot of strength on the field. And so that's what I really enjoy about the I formation. And it's a really great base formation that has that whole tight end, fullback, running back, 2 wide receivers. Like, it's got a lot of variety in there. But there is a reason why teams go with 3 wide. However, it's still such a staple, fundamental formation to football. Such, like, I don't know, like classic, like, okay, answer this. Do you have an answer for like the most basic standard formation in football? And if not, we're just going to run it down your throat. We're going to throw it wherever we want to do. We want to do whatever. So I also consider I formation to be a running formation because you have to answer my running game. And I basically want to be able to pass out of a running formation. So I want to look and see what passes are worth my time. Now, there's a positive and negative advantage here. You've got a tight end, you've got a wide receiver. You basically have two receiving threats to that side. You can have the fullback be a third receiving threat, which also is what we said in terms of what the fullback can bring to the party. And then you can have the halfback and the wide receiver on the backside, the split end. They can be a two-man combination. You can have the fullback and that wide receiver be a two-man combination. There's a lot of things that you can do. You can send people in motion. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. But I kind of want to look here and see, are there any combinations, any cool ideas? I don't think there's anything that I've skipped. But are there any cool ideas to go over here? And double comebacks, one of the things I don't like is I can just audible into double comebacks. Not audible, but sorry, hot route into double comebacks. And it's like, I can do that. I don't need that as a play call. I like halfback slip screens, but usually out of single back and gun in other situations. I don't really like it here out of eye. It's not that there's something specifically wrong with it, but I'm in a run formation and then I'm calling a pass, but then the pass is like this play. It's kind of a mess. And also in the video game, they run into each other. It's just it's a whole thing I'm trying to get away from. Another common theme, I've talked about it before, and I'm going to talk about it here, is play action. I learned from Bill Walsh, not directly, I never met the man, never got to see him, but from his documents, from the clinics that he's given. One of the things that I learned and take a special note to, that I agree with, I mean, who am I to argue with Bill Walsh, is the idea that whenever you're running a play action, you generally want your receiving targets to go away from where you're faking the run. And that is to say, if I'm trying to get the linebackers to bite, if I'm trying to get someone to get sucked in by the run, then generally I want to take advantage of that by running routes away from those people. So I do understand if this is a play action right up the middle of the field, then I want guys flaring out. Who's going to fall for the fullback flaring out to the flats? I'm sorry. And I can understand here the dig route by the X-receiver and how the X-receiver is like going behind where the linebackers used to be. I get that. So there's some value in that. I can also see if we're running inside and then we have the tight end releasing outside. So if a linebacker, an outside linebacker, whatever, gets caught trying to crash inward and then he's not in position to cover the tight end, like, I understand it. There is value there. I don't like the core design. It doesn't have like crossers or things of that nature, so I don't really like it. We're going to see that more with the play actions that I do like. Same thing here. This is faking a weak side run. And then what are we doing? I don't really like it. Same thing here. Inside run. I mean, kind of with the tight end, like releasing above the linebackers. There's some value there. I also don't like the double like posts the way they are. Not a fan. Zone and mixed direction. So we got to talk about zone and stretch. Okay. Zone and stretch. It's a pre-designed motion play. This is what I said, a novelty that I like. This is something you don't just get in every I formation or whatever. So you've got a pre-designed motion by the wide receiver, and you're running to where the wide receiver left. So if they're in man coverage and they follow across the formation and you snap and you hand it off, great. You're running with numbers to your advantage. Zone and misdirection is like you're faking towards the side that the receiver ran to and then you're cutting back. So we can check it out. Play action zone is slide though. Here's the thing. I think there's a better version. Play action skins Z slide. Yeah, I like this one better. Let's look at zone of slide. For starters, the fullback's not doing anything. But it is what I was mentioning earlier about having the routes go away from where you're faking it. So we're faking this run to the right. We're basically faking zone of stretch. And while we're faking that zone of stretch, the wide receiver is coming across the formation and going away from those linebackers that should be going to our offensive right, the defensive left. And the same thing with the tight end. They're stretching across the field. And they've also got a high and a low. And because we're booting out, we also have a route by X that takes off, and so now we've got 3 layers, and I love like everything about that. We also have Skins Z slide, and functionally that X receiver is running deep with a comeback, and then you also have 3 other players. Like everyone is trailing at different depths and different spacing, all to the same part of the field. So all your threats, like the quarterback has a plethora of choices. The quarterback basically has all 4 legal targets that you can throw to, all at different layers, like breaking open the same side that he's faking to. So that's exactly what I'm looking for, and I just like that a lot better than this play. You get a little bit better blocking, but also the quarterback is rolling away from that blocking, so like who cares? Weak zone insert. This is something I'm definitely considering like cutting, but the idea is it's not the same as zone of stretch, because the wide receiver stops between the tackle and the tight end. Okay? And then in skin zones, he does the same thing. So basically when this wide receiver goes in motion, we can be running power behind the wide receiver and everyone, or we can just run it weak. Right? So that's what this play is, and then we can run it weak. So I like having the multiple options that they can't just say, oh, when the wide receiver goes in motion, it's always this run. Hey, I like keeping him on their toes. Then we have Z close. So Z close only has 3 plays here, and it's another novelty that I said that I like when I'm looking at formations. And we only get 1 run, unfortunately, which is just a pitch play. But it's really, as I've said in a previous video, I've said many times before, I like to have a base play that we're trying to work. And in this case, Z close, the goal is, or the base play is to run this route, this corner route, this flag route by the wide receiver. And so the threat of that corner route is going to get us close shake later on. If we can complete close corner, then we want them to try to stop close corner and then get them with the jerk move, the joker move, the shake move, whatever your kind of code word slash expression to say, you thought we were running this play with B, and actually he bent it back over towards the post, and we got you. And the idea is to get massive separation and potentially touchdown shots. You're usually taking this shot like 30 yards to the end zone. You're taking it from the red zone. You're taking it from 30 yards out, whatever it is. You're giving space so that as he gets down the field, he can catch it, he can run in motion, and probably score. So that's the idea. You're not running this from like your own 40 or your own 30-yard line. You're trying to run this, and you're trying to save this in your back pocket for when you've crossed the 50 and you're in what they call plus territory. But that's for both of these plays, because again, if you execute the close corner well, he can also catch it in space, just turn up the sidelines and get a few more yards, and he's in the end zone or darn close to it. So that's the base play. That is the play off of it, if they're trying to take it away or they respect it. And then depending on the coverage that they give, if they're just showing like a too high shell or whatever, and they're not really respecting the fact that you're that you can run it, you just run it on them. So that's also a play that I keep in my back pocket in the audibles to just kill to the halfback toss. So you can also obviously Y button and then fake audibles, so they think, oh, we audibled into the run and blah blah blah. There's the chess match game against a real person, but also the flavor of a real game. Ravens all go. I think we've seen something like this before, and we've seen the comeback version, and the fact is I'll choose this over the comeback version because I can just audible into comebacks, or I keep saying audible, hot route into comebacks, but who cares? Beyond that, Vikings fade. Am I calling this from goal line? I don't think so. This is the comebacks based on the Ravens goes. Okay. Why shake? Don't care. I want to talk about slam fake end around. I want end around to work, and if end around works, then we can do the fake end around and the play action end around and all of that. The problem is the end around just doesn't work. It sucks. I could show you on film, but I don't think there's a point. It doesn't work, so we cut it all, and it's all gone. This route combination is boring. Don't like it. Don't like the sluggos. Just the generic fades. It's just a repeat play. Skins out. This is a classic Bill Walsh play. And usually it has like option routes. So one of the reasons it's out is it's just too basic. I like double outs. Like the mirrored out routes are nice. There's just not much going on here with the tight end. The out routes are supposed to try to beat some kind of man coverage, right? By running the corner, like running up the corner's feet, getting his back turned, and then like breaking to the out. And so to win man coverage, and then hoping that you can get open in zone with a tight end. But that's also why you need like multiple options for the wide receiver for the A button. Because if he just sits there and they're covering you up, if they're like in cover 3, if they've got the high-low bracket with the buzz zones and the deep zones, they're taking away your X and your B. They're also going to have like 2 guys over the middle to cover A, and you have nothing. It's just a dead play. So whatever. Again, a whole bunch of nothing. I guess you're just trying to draw their attention up and then throw over the top of them, I guess. I guess that's what's supposed to happen. At least the advantage here is it's like the delay block, so like you're really selling the run instead of just immediately releasing down the field. Here is a half decent play action because, again, you're faking the weak side run, and then the fullback is zipping out and the wide receiver is coming across. I don't know why I've cut this play. We're going to have to practice it and see why. There's got to be a reason I've cut it. This is another classic play. At least this one you're trying to suck the linebackers up, and then you're running the fullback and the tight end in 2 different directions, and you got some high-low, and there's some interesting stuff going on here. Slip screen, don't care. Lead draw, don't care. The mesh, also the fact that these players are close. So when we have halfback slip screen, the X receiver is close. What are we trying to do here? We have auto motion by the wide receiver. What are we trying to show? What are we trying to show off? What's our main goal here? What's our core play? They have the lead draw, which is the same like route combination, but it's a draw play. But then it's not built on mesh. Mesh is a whole different play here. Z spot. This mesh and this Z spot can also be like 20 yards and in kind of play, because the way the routes are run, you can have that touchdown shot, that corner shot to A. You can have that corner shot to A, but you can also have the post. There's like things that you can do so it can be like a red zone play. But then what are we doing with this whole slip screen lead draw business? Like, what else is tied together with it? And I already have plenty of red zone plays. This is better than what we saw earlier with skins out. And the main reason it's better is because the tight end actually does have an option route. If how he wants to attack the middle of the field, he can go to the post or he can run the middle of the field. So at least he has a proper read in the decisions that he tries to make. So that's fascinating, but I also feel the computer struggles with this. There's no real answer here against cover 1. At cover 1, you've got to throw to the outs, right? Cover 2, you want to split the safeties and throw the post to the tight end. Cover 3, as they're bracketing you, like, they're going to have a whole defender. So I guess we're trying to throw over the linebackers over the middle of the field to the tight end, I guess. So we can see how well that works out against specific looks. Play action power O. What I don't like is we're not pulling guards. So that is what it is. And I just don't like the combinations. We're like running fake side. This kind of is Spider 2 wide banana, whatever, that John Gruden talked about famously many times. Because you've got a flood combination and you're trying to get it out to the fullback in the flats. So like it is a legitimate play. But it's just not one of my favorite play actions. And it also doesn't match the name. Like, you're not really faking power. So we've already got the Falcon play that we may cut. And I like that a lot better than just this generic boot. Corner strike, I can go on and on talking about the route combinations here with the inside slant release, then going upfield and turning it out, and how you have the high-low with A and B. And you have the inside release with X that ends up turning into a dig in the circle route, because I also have plays that are connected to that. Here we have very similar. We have X running the post, and we have the inside release by B. But instead of B running to the flag, B has the dig route combination. So you've got little combinations of what X and B are doing, so that's why I like that stuff. Here with play action weak flood, we are faking the ball to the strong side. The fullback is leaking out to the same side that we're running the fake to, but then we have A dragging across the formation. And again, we're working that same combination of those inside releases by B and X and how they want to break on their routes. There's just classic power O, and I don't trust the computer to have pulling guards. ISO is a bit boring. I'd rather have inside zone than just core ISO. Flanker smoke, it's not a screenplay, but it's the closest that you get to a wide receiver screen in the I formation. It's just the quick step, toss it out there. Go wide corner is very boring. At least you've got some kind of scissor combination. Misdirection is exactly as it sounds. So the thing about misdirection is you are supposed to be running the weak run when you have a leverage advantage, and it's usually because they're leveraging the strong side. So you're misdirecting into a strong side run, which was the side that they were leveraging. So I don't know if it's a good idea to call this and then use or flip it at the line of scrimmage. So you're faking as a version of a counterplay. So that might be a thing. I'm willing to try that. Here we're just play action booting away from a strong run. And again, you've got the multi-layered and the crossers like I've talked about earlier. I think I already have stretch and it's just repeating. We can show end around and just show how bad it is. Stretch, 18 slant, they're all the same. Fullback fake, halfback flip. The computer doesn't fall for this. Flea flicker, not a good idea. Halfback option. I don't like the running back running through the offensive line to then look for catches. And we do kind of have a dig route here with A and B, but it is what it is. Play action tight end corner. At least this variation is faking the weak side run, and then we're going away from it as opposed to the play action power O. So there is some validity behind this, but I still am not a fan of having the fullback trying to run through the offensive line and getting caught up. Halfback toss. We've already got a toss play and everything. Play action clear out. We've already seen variations of that. Play action fullback flat. I've already discussed what I don't like about that style of play action. We've seen pretty much this before. Fullback dive fake halfback. This is the core play that you want to run. Now, this is the next point that I want to make. Oh, I see we've got comments. That is awesome. Hey, what's up? Yeah, it's our Bills fans. Sup, Paul? We lost so badly to the Ravens. It's just one game. Ravens are definitely towards the top of the class in the AFC. The Bills just didn't have it in the regular season. But it is just a one game, right? Niners lost to the Ravens. We got smoked. We got embarrassed on TV on Christmas, bro. That was my Christmas gift last year from the 49ers, is having Brock Purdy throw 4 interceptions or whatever and get smoked. But guess what? We were still in the fucking Super Bowl, baby. Were the Ravens in the Super Bowl? Nope. So hold your head high, Bills fans. I'm telling you. I'm not predicting the Bills Super Bowl, and I'm saying you lost to the Ravens, first time? That's pretty funny if you remember we lost to the Super Bowl to them. But it doesn't matter, right? It's regular season. Hold your head up high. It's all good. Right? Then I got Jason in here. Still working on that playbook. Of course, bro. It never ends. It's Madden 2013. I'm still working on that playbook. But that's part of the fun, is I'm trying to make content. Trying to show you my thought process, what I'm looking at, what I don't like. And one of the things, Jason, that's to me a lot of fun is to make different playbooks so that they feel unique, or at least feel like I'm running different teams and different philosophies. That's why I have a pistol playbook or whatever. That's why I have a Shanahan playbook, because I generally want this to be a zone run kind of system, like the West Coast kind of system, but then you can also have an air raid system or whatever. So I don't want them to just feel all samey, right? So it's also pointing out and having these videos just talk to you about what I see when I look at plays and why I don't like to include plays or what I see, so forth. So that leads me back here to fullback dive, fake halfback. Here's the thing. I don't like the way it's set up because for me, whenever I'm trying to run the fullback dive, like the actual fullback dive, it's usually, in this case, to the weak side. And the reason is, as I've said earlier, maybe you caught it, maybe you didn't. With the I formation, we have a +1 numbers advantage with the fullback towards the strong side, towards the tight end. So usually, like, if the defense is balanced, we work against that balance by having our +1 and we just run the ball with the fullback as a lead blocker. But if they're imbalanced, if they're trying to favor one side of the offense versus another, then we attack the weak side, right? They have 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, or 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, right? 4-3 or 3-4. That's 7 in the box. Well, we often talk about the linemen and the linebackers, 4-3, 3-4. But what if we rotate our perspective 90 degrees? You're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, just to go with this imagination here with me. What if we think of the center, the quarterback, the halfback, the fullback, all that, as a vertical line instead of separating the offense and defense as a horizontal line? What if we draw a vertical line right down the center of the center, quarterback, fullback, halfback, all that, and we look at the left side of the field and the right side of the field, the weak side and the strong side, and then if I say a 3-4 split, what if 3-4 didn't mean the defense, like 3 linemen, 4 linebackers? What if 3-4 meant there are 3 defenders to the left of center and 4 defenders to the right of center out of that 7? What if it was reversed, where there are 4 defenders to the left and 3 defenders to the right? We talk about 8 men in the box. And if you have questions about what does it mean in the box, I can answer that. Please put it in the comments. But otherwise, I'm going to assume you know what I'm talking about. So assuming they have 7 in the box, if I'm reading 3 to the left and 4 to the right, then generally I want to make sure that I have my 2 players, my guard and my tackle, maybe with the help of the center, just moving a defensive tackle, whoever, out of the way, busting a player, and just running the fullback inside. And running the fullback inside, I want him to run to the weak side. I don't want him to run to the strong side, where there are more bodies and people that can tackle him. So I don't want to run that specific play. Okay? So we're looking at fullback dive, fake halfback, and play action fullback screen. So what I just talked about is why, when we go all the way up here, it's why I have this play. And I like to show that stuff off whenever we go, like, in practice mode or whatever. But that is why I run that play and not the one that we had on the screen. So play action fullback screen. Here we are. Everything that I just said about strong and weak and all of that, we're faking the weak side run, getting them to swing out to the weak side run, and then throwing it back strong side where we had guys moving out into space as lead blockers. So I like it. Halfback pass. Now, this is not specifically just for my Jaguars franchise with Denard Robinson, but come on. I've had this in the playbook long before I did a Jags franchise, but Denard Robinson is an example of why we want to do this. And I don't know, I really haven't tried it in this game, how often you can take a college quarterback and then turn them into a running back. I don't know how often the video game checks storylines by Josh Lumen, like a college quarterback turn running back. But when you get those college quarterbacks turns running backs that actually have half decent like passing skills, it can be a fun play to just like get the ball and then literally throw it, because he actually has a decent enough rating where it's not, the game doesn't just have a wild pass, right? And then Bills weak zone. I'm not picking this play just because it says the Bills. It's just, it happens to be a weak zone. Halfback screen weak. I take it weak over the strong. And I do like this tight end fullback crossing route play. I like this play on the PlayStation 2. I'm willing to take a look at it here in Madden 14. But I remember liking it in the PlayStation 2 version because you can just drop back and throw it to B. Like if they're just off ball on you, you just drop back and you do a quick out to B. You do not have time. There's a pass rush coming after you, and you just throw it to B. Now, I see a comment in here, so I'm going to talk about it in just a moment. I see a few comments, actually. It says, the Bills fan here, Alter, OA, says, looking at our schedule, my main area of concern is November, given we usually be shaky at that time. You know what? My area of concern is January, when the games are win or go home, right? No, I understand what you're saying, but you understand my sarcasm, too. Because, some teams, they be in certain months. Yeah, one of the reasons why that happens, at least, I can't say this is the scientific reason, and I have the answer to football, but really a lot of things that end up happening are teams have time to gel. Give me just a second here. Okay, so teams have time to gel, or defenses, offenses, it's all that kind of thing. Like, usually the early weeks, these first 4 weeks, and especially with only 3 preseason games, offenses have not all worked together. Offensive lines haven't really worked together. But at the same time, defenses are not completely gelled in their communication, unless they're a veteran team that has the same defensive coordinator like the Vikings have right now. And what's one of the reasons why Brian Flores and the Vikings are doing really well is because they literally had all of last year to work together. They mostly have the same cast and crew. They have the same coordinator. And they're picking up where they left off. And there's not a whole bunch of new stuff and new players and new ideas. And they're just ready to go. Okay? So that's another reason why they can take off running. Whereas other teams, new coordinator, big changes, players retire. Like the Rams losing Aaron Donald or whatever. Like you lose a threat like that and it makes a difference. It's why it was a good thing for Kansas City to make sure that they continue to keep Chris Jones. Right? So, when you've got a defense that can just fire off from week 1, like, you're going to have early results. But you also have factors. You talked about the Bills in November, is you've had September and October to put up all these points and put up all this film. Teams are going to have a chance to see what was working and what wasn't working against you, what matchups and players are working. There's a variety of factors, and they can start game planning you. And not to talk trash about the Bills, they're definitely a tier 2 team. That's the reality. Like, they've had opportunities to try to make improvements, and you can't blame them for going after the players they have, but they're a tier 2 team, and they're facing tier 1 teams. And I know it because my Niners are a tier 2 team. They're not in the same level of football as Mahomes and Andy Reid and all that. They just aren't. And the Bills, they're the same thing. They can win. They are good. But they're a tier 2 team. And they rely on the athleticism and the incredible talent of Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. They need him to carry them because they don't have a balanced team. Like, without Josh Allen, they're nothing. And by that, I mean, like, if you swap Josh Allen and Brock Purdy, the Niners would be an even better team, and I love Brock Purdy. And the Bills wouldn't be considered like a Super Bowl favorite. I'm not trying to disrespect Brock Purdy. I really like Brock Purdy. I think he's a great quarterback for our system and all that. But your Bills are like relying on the raw talent of Josh Allen from what I've seen to carry them above and beyond what the rest of the team is capable of. Right? Like the Niners have been able to plug in a Nick Mullins and get wins. They've been able to plug in a Jimmy Garoppolo and get wins. Like, you don't plug in a Jimmy Garoppolo into the Bills and, like, carry them to the Super Bowl. It's just not happening. Like, Josh Allen is trying his best to will the team to the Super Bowl, and even he's not enough. Okay? So, teams are going to pick you apart, like defensive teams and all that. They're going to find ways. Now, it's not a Bills podcast here. We're going to talk about other stuff in playbooks. But I also see Jason has some great comments here that I'm not ignoring, but we got to get to. Asks, what do you think about the Niners trading for Davante Adams? My understanding is it's not going to happen. It's one of those like flash in the pan things. Like the talk was Ayuk to the Raiders for Devontae Adams, like a pick. I don't know how it was going to go one way or the other. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. This probably isn't happening. You said you heard one scenario that sends Ayuk. We already paid him. We already have a huge cap thing with him. Why are we going to re-sign Ayuk and then trade him for a guy who's literally needs to re-up his contract this year and then have a bunch of dead money on Ayuk? It doesn't make any sense. Of course, the trade up to get Trey Lance didn't make any sense, but that's a whole other thing I think I've talked about before, and I can talk about later if you want. My conspiracy theory and what I've heard. But, I mean, hey, things that don't make sense, but to me it doesn't make any damn sense. And it says Ayuk and a second for the Raiders. Why would the Raiders want to give us Adams and a second round pick for Ayuk? Maybe because we're already paying for Ayuk, so in exchange we get a second. But those were the numbers I was hearing before they upped his contract. You know, and okay, so then you finish your comment. You don't know how that works with the money. My thing, Jason, here is I don't know the details either. I'm not speaking from a place of authority. But I've heard times where you negotiate in the deal which team takes the cap hit. And that's my understanding what happened with the Texans and Brock Osweiler with the Browns is the Texans had this gargantuan, ugly contract with Brock. And they got a 7th round pick from the Browns in exchange for the Browns taking the cap hit. So the Texans didn't have him on the books anymore, but they also didn't get anything back. It's just, can you clear the books for us? And it was like, the Browns are like, we can afford that. I think they got something else in the deal, like to make it worth their while or whatever. But it's like, there are times where you can say like, okay, here's the situation. You take the money instead of us. Okay. Jason then also says after this, 2019 to 2024 Niners are the Cowboys of the 70s who would have probably won 3 Super Bowls if it weren't for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, I mean, there's a truth to that. But, you know, you play the teams in front of you, and how many other teams would have won Super Bowls if it wasn't for Tom Brady and Peyton Manning standing in the way? And the Steelers as well with Ben Roethlisberger. I think they said the AFC, almost every Super Bowl was quarterbacked by Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or Ben Roethlisberger, except for like one time with Rich Gannon, and then the times that what else was it? Like Flacco had like one appearance or whatever. It was almost always those quarterbacks in the AFC for the Super Bowl. And now it's like the same truth with Mahomes. So. And then our Bills fan, away here, says, which is why I feel like we need to establish the run game with James Cook so we can take some of the burden off Josh Allen. Yeah, of course. I mean, having a balanced run game, absolutely. I'm a Niner fan, and that's even what I'm doing here in the playbook situation, is trying to talk about how we can kind of hide Chad Henne or whatever, but also if we had a good quarterback, how we could support them with a quality run game. Totally agree with that. Jason says, no, we send our second, but you're right. Yeah, okay. So we give up our second and Ayuk for a 1-year rental. Wow, I mean, like, if the Niners do that, that'll be the second dumbest trade I've ever heard of. Right behind, again, trading up to number 3. Which, again, I can add on in a little bit. But OA here says, speaking of the run game, I saw an image of Derrick Henry stiff-arming our DB again. And I'm like, yep, Josh Norman flashbacks. Here's the thing. Have you seen the meme? The first meme that I think of is the Tom Hanks or whatever movie with the Somalian pirates or whatever. Look at me, I'm the captain now. And then it was Derrick Henry to Earl Thomas. Says, look at me, you're my lead blocker now. You know, what he did to them in the playoffs. Derrick Henry, he's not like Barry Sanders and Chris Johnson fast, but the man is fast. He has a lot of stamina. He can do the whole 99-yard run literally like he did with the Titans. He can run all the way down the field and even actually leave defenders, like leave defensive backs behind while also being powerful. Like, Derrick Henry is like the modern Sean Alexander. Sean Alexander was a league MVP. He was a cover boy of Madden and all that. And, you know, I was in my teens and early 20s when Sean Alexander was playing. And I remember the announcers talking about, I don't remember which year it was, but it was like the start to his season. And they said, like, oh, Sean had to make a decision in the offseason. Like, do you stay the same weight? Do you try to lose weight and get faster? Do you try to gain weight and get stronger? And they were like, what should he do or whatever? Because he has a great balance of speed and power. And it's like, that's a big thing, and that's what Henry has. He's got it all. He is an elite back for sure. And then, what else? Yeah, you saw that meme. Awesome. Okay, so with those comments, with all due respect and thanks to the people leaving the comments, we go back here and we've got the weak zone. And as I said, this is arguably one of my favorite plays in football. In one of my videos, I broke down in detail why, and you can go see that. I think it was our first preseason game of the Jags. I broke it down in great detail. I just talked about adding this play, halfback angle. I think I have variations of this play already in my book. We do have smash. We have the halfback angle. We've got the deep out. We've got the fullback to the flats. It's a really good play. I want to know why it's not in my book, and I think the answer is we have the exact same play already. It's just a copycat play. Play action of the misdirection. You're not even seeing the misdirection if it's a play action, whatever. But curls is boring. The Cowboys zone weak is just one variation of multiple plays. It's a copy that we've already seen so many times before, and I'm not trying to repeat plays. Halfback counter weak is a play I cut because the fullback doesn't block it right. There's like a lot of guys that don't block it right. And I used to have this in the playbook, and I was testing all the plays that had these counters, like these double movements and lead blocks and stuff, and I was cutting the ones that just didn't physically work, like there were errors. Cross ends, I think we have the play action of the cross ends. We added that a little bit earlier, and I'm willing to see which is better, the play action version or just the drop back version. In quick slants here, at least we're not running like two slants to the same part of the field, so we are running this this slant flat combo with Y and X, and then we're running the dragon combo with A and B, so there's something interesting. ISO weak, give me the weak side run, like the weak zone, especially again because we're using Shanahan, so we want the zone style. Sweep, we already have the Z close sweep, we don't need that. There's the inside zone, we have the weak zone, and we have this inside zone. I like this a lot better than the Cowboys halfback zone, like the way it's blocked up and everything. This is the slants that I was trying to avoid, and the other advantage again is the halfback is swinging out. Where in this play, it's kind of happening and you are attacking the flats, but you've got nothing to the left-hand side. So here with quick slants is you've got two outside breaking players, Y and A, two inside breaking players, X and B. And with this slant play, you just got three inside breaking and one outside, and you're not really stretching the defense, and you're just making a flustercluck of bodies over the middle of the field, and it's just a complete mess. I don't want draw plays from a run formation. I want to be able to pass from a run formation. So this is like rock, paper, scissors, but like to the nth degree. Like we're in a running formation, but we're dropping back to pass. But ooh, it's a run, but we're not really run blocking in the run play of the passy run play. Like what? Because the reason you want to pass is when they're like stacked up to stop the run. So what are you doing? You're calling the draw when they're stacked up to stop the run, but you're actually dropping back to pass because that's when you want to pass, is when they're stacked up like that. But you're like, gotcha, where it's not actually a pass. We're going to run it the same defense that's stacked up against the run, but we're also going to have pass blocking protection. I don't like it. Draws are nice out of the gun, but it just seems like a mess here. Fullback flare, just a classic play, and you've got the high-low with A and RB. You've got what's happening with the little hook route and then the in-breaking route with B. There's a lot of things to like about this. I've already talked about this in this same video. I don't like the way this play breaks down, and this is a good counter to the weak zone. However, again, they don't block it well. It's just a flustercluck. Mentioned this already. Okay, here's one thing. We have the Texas route, so it's the fullback breaking out to catch the pass, which is interesting. Flanker post, we can try that a bit. This halfback angle, where do we have? I thought we already had halfback angle. Here's all the Z close stuff. I thought we were repeating it. I was afraid we were repeating it. So I'm just trying to kind of scroll through smoke, seam, misdirection, slide into rounds. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know why that was cut out, but I'm glad I've added it back in if I didn't have it. So the other one that I wanted to show you as we get into practice mode in just a second here, and I also want to answer all the different questions and comments in the chat, but maybe my my YouTube is wrong. My YouTube says there are no viewers right now, but I'm going to respond anyway. Anything else? No, nothing new. Okay. So, slot flex. I just don't like having like 3 wide receivers here or having the tight end flexed out of this formation. But the other one was tight end flip. I just don't like the other formation at all. There are 22 plays in here. I clicked add all, but all I'm interested in are these plays where the tight end goes in motion. Because with this play, let's just do the halfback run. You can see the way they're lined up. It's the tight end is flipped, right? He's off the line of scrimmage. So why are we doing this versus the normal? And the main reason for doing this versus normal is because we want to send that wide receiver, or not wide receiver, that tight end in motion. Okay? So the point being, if he's off the ball and he goes in motion, why don't we call the plays that are the novelty plays that send him in motion? Okay? So we have the flip halfback blast. So it's the weak side run, but we're auto motioning the tight end to strong side, and then we're running a strong side, right? And then it says the play action power. Now we're faking to one side and we're going across the field. I don't know if that's going to be good, but we're trying it. There's some novelty there. Okay. These other plays don't have the tight end going in motion. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just seems boring to me. It just seems like iPro, but you're just flipping the tight end for no other valuable reason. So here we have the motion. Okay, this is the boot, where you're faking that what becomes strong side and rolling weak. There's the wing power. That's the play. So you're running that power play, which it becomes like a weak power, and that's what makes it interesting, is now you only have the tackle and guard to the side, and you've got the fullback leading, but now you're pulling the guard, the backside guard, as you put the tight end in motion. So that is a core play that can be a lot of fun. And that's what this is based off of. So it's like the third layer. You're like, hey, this is a play. You have to respect this play. Because you have to respect that play, we're going to give you this play. And then because you might have to respect that third layer, we're going to feed this at you. Like, we got to see if that works, if it's worth our time setting up. I don't think this play is going to stick in my book. I think it's just going to be like, put in motion, make a move, and I think it's an ugly play, and we're going to cut it. Raider Blast. Is that just a repeat? Let me double check. It's probably just a repeat. That's just a repeat. So I just kept it because it was in motion, but it's just a repeat. So we're down to 7 plays. I don't have any faith in this play. You're not really creating like conflict defenders. So now here's another reason why it's probably not even in my playbook. Why I originally didn't have it, like when I started this up, is because now we're at 6 plays, and what are we even doing? What are we even really doing? So we have the flip blast. We have the play action out of the flip blast. We have the wing power O and the play action out of the wing power O. Here we have the blast play, but a different play action, where you've got the dig route, and you've got the third variation of that weak play, but instead of the in route, it's an in and up route. So we have to see if that ever gets open either, which I kind of have my doubts that it ever does. But that's why we're trying it. So that is the novelty of, like, at least we'll take the shot. Okay? So with that in mind, we're going to save. Okay? And we're going to go to practice mode. And we're going to take a look at plays. Normal. Jags. Seahawks. Ready. Alright, so just to let you know, at time of being live, YouTube is telling me 0 viewers. So, as I said before, either it's behind and I have viewers, or I don't, and again, I'm just going live to chill with you and everyone else on my birthday eve, and do some Madden. and do some playbooking. Putting in the grind, and hopefully you have a good time with me. Formation. I formation. Pro. Let's do practice options. Game options. Depth chart. Let's put Scott in. Let's have MJD get out of here. Everything else is fine. Resume. Okay. We have package formations. We have dual halfback, which is a lot of fun because we don't actually have to have a true fullback. We can set up our backup running back to be there, which is again a situation where you could have Denard Robinson or whatever we want. Jumbo backfield means we actually have our number 2 tight end with our fullback, if that's what we want to do. Wide receiver swap is self-explanatory. Spell halfback just means have the backup in there. The backup quarterback, if we want to do some shenanigans with that player position, we can swap the backs. So now the fullback is the tailback and the halfback is the upback. And we can do funny things with the halfback, who's now the fullback based on the routes that he's running, by having him take that position instead and having the fullback back as the blocker and just have that weird alignment, and that can be fun. Dual halfback swap. So again, it's the same thing, having the backup be the tailback and the starter up at the fullback slot. And then just back to normal. So all kinds of variety there. So with that in mind, why don't I go to depth chart? Why don't I put shoelaces in as number 2? And why don't I go into spell halfback and look at things like halfback pass and so forth? Why don't we try it out? Well, that's one reason. That was all kinds of a weird fluster cluck.
Well, let's go. Brad 38.
Okay, that's a big reason why I don't like it, because it doesn't work like the PS2 version where you have to press A to bring up the passing icons or whatever, and then you get killed right away. You don't actually get a block. They just let you get killed. And I want to look at my depth chart. I mean, I think he's got pretty decent throw power and accuracy. But let's check it out. Let's see if there's any other value in it. Yeah, short accuracy, 66, 63, 61, throw on the run. Like, all those skills. Like, he can complete it, but that's just a random play. Whatever, who cares?
Let's go. Brad 38.
But I just don't like getting obliterated because they can't block.
Well, let's go. Blue 95. Blue 95.
See, like that? You're not getting a block. That's what sucks.
Brad 38.
You're never gonna see this play, like a goal line.
Get ready.
Come on, give me some real plays here, people. Give me some real plays. Give me some plays we're actually going to see in a game.
Get ready. Wide 88. Wide 88.
And that's the problem right there.
Get ready.
That's why that goal line, fuck you, Madden. Fuck you. Why have goal line in the random play? Because it's not just random. Like, oh, random it means more to, like, humans don't understand randomness. Randomness, you can have, black show up 16 times in a row on a roulette. Well, yeah, I get it, but you have so many plays to choose from. Dimes and nickels and quarters and all these plays to choose from. And you only have like 6 or 8 goal line plays, and you pick it like all the fucking time. You pick it all the fucking time. Like, not even close to a fair percentage representation for years. Like, I could see if, like, one time I'm playing the video game and it shows up, like, 6 times in a row or whatever. But it's just, like, predictably. Like, it's, like, always, like, the second play. Like, you have some random formation, and the second formation is, like, always fucking goal line. So stupid. And look at that. They're just like, oh, we're going to fake the run by... What are you doing? 74, 77. Tight end. And you're just inviting it. You've got a kick out so that you can block. And you're just like, get killed. It's so stupid. Like, you want a reason why I cut it? Like, that's the reason. Like, we literally have a guy who played quarterback. We have a reason to use it. And you're just asking to get crushed. Regardless of the route and the route combination and telling B to do a comeback or whatever, you're literally just, you press the snap, he gets the ball, an unblocked defender sacks you. That's the play. I can't run the play. So fucking useless. Okay. So with that bullshit out of the way, the next thing we were going to try was, can we fake... This is the situation I wanted. They're all stacked up to the strong side. So we're going to fake to the run and misdirect back to the weak. Do we like it? Does it do anything we want to have done here? We're blocking 77, 74, 89 all to the right. It looks like an inside run. And we're actually taking it weak side. We see the linebackers are biting. Correct. They're respecting it. 54, 53. They're respecting it. We're getting a shove on 99. We're double teaming and getting the shove. And we really just have to read 91 and get out of there. Oh my god, he gets his back broken. You see that? He gets his back broken. This is one of the things about this system. Look at this. Oh. With him and Sherm. Like, oh my god. He gets folded in a way your body isn't supposed to fold. Oh my god. Even the video game can't handle all the physics, the ragdollness of it all. What a mess.
Get ready. Well, let's go.
I'm glad we're not seeing goal line over and over right now. But this is super trash. Like, you're never going to see quarters defense against that. Like, stop wasting our time.
Get ready. Spread 38.
That's something I miss about PS2, man. Can't you just pick random from formation? Where was it? Where was the play? Misdirection. By formation. Let's do 4-3. Under. 2-man under. Yeah, the way the animation is, and there's a talent gap with the blockers, but the way the animations are and the way it flows is so trash. Like, he has to do this like weird bendy animation that also just seems like he's floating. Right? He's just kind of like floating in space. And then you're forced in this weird way before you're given any control. And then you're just basically run like directly into the defender. Yeah. The previous play, it like bent me towards the defender. And now here, if I just try to aim not towards the defender, he does this weird sidestep business. It's kind of weird. Like, if you just try to follow an angle and you're just getting your guy fucking killed. Look at that. You're just trying to follow the 45-degree angle, the bend here that you have. I guess we want to aim outside the tight end. Like, that works to a degree.
Get ready. Red 38.
I guess that's our aim point, is off the tight end as a user. That's been our most success
Get ready.
of what we're reading. But now we need to go back to random plays and all of that.
Right 88.
So I guess misdirection like kind of works, but it looks like a mess to me. Okay. We talked about Skin's zone.
Get ready. Red
So
38. Red 38.
we can see here what's going on.
Let's go. Red.
We can see the auto motion. And then Shorts comes across the formation. He does not lead block through it. He's the backside kicker. And that's exactly what he does here. He backside kicks here. So he comes in to get involved. The corner falls across the formation. So now, because the corner Sherman is followed across the formation as the tight end on the cornerback, the fullback kicks out really well. And we're just trying to run inside, so I like it. Go across the formation. Backs off. You've got some good matchups here.
Red 38.
Come across the formation. 2 yards is not good enough.
Go. Blue 95. Blue 95.
Sometimes these situations, it's a real mess here. You can see that here. Even though we've got a numbers advantage, we've got 4 versus all the players that we're using. Like, I guess we're supposed to, like, right thumbstick, click to the left instead of the right, but we've got an unblocked defender here who just immediately gets off, in a realistic manner, by the way. He slips off and closes off anything inside, and then everyone else just closes off everything outside, which is good defense. But it's also trash play design. But at least I keep trying it. The idea is if my Jimmies and Joes are not as good as Yo's, right? We got the double team. He gets split. Wow, he beats 3 dudes? Well, he beats the double team for sure. Then, after he's beating this double team, obviously he beats Cecil and beats Young and makes the tackle. The bro just takes over the game at the defensive tackle position. But also we see how Mercedes Lewis is getting dominated off the ball, but driven backwards into our lap. So yeah, we have a lot of problems with that. And I mentioned before about the novelty. So like, if that doesn't work, then what else are we even trying? Right? If Skin Zone doesn't work, then doesn't it just like remove all the similar plays? Here's what happens if we run away from that wide receiver position. We just let him run the ball. We've got to deal with the corner. That's going to be a problem. Just completely ignored. And then we can't physically see it on the TV. The running back can see it. But on the TV, we're like, oh, we've got plenty of space, so there's a defender here. Motion. I mean, I can run this play without having to send the wide receiver in motion. So what's the point? What is the actual point here? Play action skins Z slide. Well, that's based off of Zona stretch. So let's check out the misdirection play. We've seen one variation of misdirection and I didn't like it. Let's try the other one. Run across the formation. And fake it to that side and then blend it back. Are we reading the tight end's block here? Yeah, we're just getting crushed. And then we've got goal line again. Okay, whatever. Yeah, we pick it up, hats on hats, across the board. Almost everyone is blocking, and we're still just getting destroyed in the hole because the play design doesn't have an answer for that. Right? So it's got to go. Like, I don't want to call those trash plays. Okay? So what else do we want? If not that, then what? Well, more things to try. Things to show off. Play action, fullback screen.
Let's go.
So you know what? We could have some fun with that, right? We can do dual halfback, right? Where's dual halfback? Right here. We can call play action, fullback screen. And now we've got another comment. Thank you, OA. Any position areas that you feel the Jags team you're working on need improvement other than the quarterback? Offensive line, defensive line, corner, the whole, like, really I'm not happy with the receivers either. Like, the whole team, if you want to, like, be ridiculous about it. There's a reason why the team, like, completely turned over when they finally, like, made the playoffs. So I think it's a really great question. Justin Forsett, he's young, not like super young. He's 27. He's got like 3 years, and then he hits the 30-year-old wall, and he's only 76 overall. I think he played a lot better than when he finally went to the Ravens. I think he had like one really good season with the Ravens, and that's also a credit to their team. But they don't have a feature running back. I do like Denard Robinson, as I've said before. I like trying to feature him and have him be like my offensive weapon, my Taysom Hill, my whatever kind of like multi-purpose player. Fullback is nothing special. And I get distracted here because I've got this chair that like the wheels broke. And because of that, it'll just like, they'll just start popping out. Like I'll temporarily fix it and then they'll just pop out. And it just falls. It's not very much, but it just like leans forward suddenly. I've got like a temporary fix, but sometimes it'll just do that on me, and sometimes it'll stay stable for days, and sometimes it'll pop out like 3 times in a row. Okay, anyway, back on topic. You asked me a really great question, and I want to answer it. Cecil Shorts, like Justin Blackman, like mid-80s receivers, just all kinds of okay. But what am I looking for? Like, let's look at run block. That's throw on the run. We don't want that. We don't care about all that. Okay, so Blackman has 58 impact blocking, so that's kind of nice. But where is just the regular run block? I don't think it's in here. They don't show it. But the run blocking is not very good. Then you look at the route running. We've got a really good route runner. We've got some decent release. We have like all kinds of okay. They're just all kinds of okay, but they're not stars. They're number 2s looking for a number 1, right? We've got 2 number 2s without a number 1. We've got like a number 3 here. We need a true number 1. But we can't have like 2 2s and a 3. Like, it's too many receivers. And you can't just pay everyone. I really like Mercedes Lewis, but he's not going to be around for too much longer. And obviously, the Gronkowskis and the Kelseys and all that of the world are like the elite tight ends. But Mercedes Lewis is like a forgotten talented one. Do we need to upgrade? No, it's fine, but it would be nice to have an elite guy. Luke is a very good left tackle that is really good for us. I think he's like rated like a 90 for us. When you have the scheme and everything set up, is like he's really, really good for us. And that's about it. The entire rest of the offensive line is like forgettable. The defensive line is literally Tyson here. He's not elite, but he's just a solid in defender. And Babin is 33 years old, right? There's nothing special in the defensive tackle position. There's nothing special here at the linebacker position. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect Paul Plovslovsny, but he's just a linebacker. He's just a starter. And that is a hell of a thing to say about a human being, because there are only 32 teams in the league, and you're one of the top 32 middle linebackers on the planet Earth. Like, you're a starting middle linebacker in the NFL. Like, that's no insult. But he's not a star, and he's 28. He's not on the rise. He's not going to become a 90-something. He's already, like, in the prime of his career. The prime of his career is an 83. Like, what is that? Like, it's not, someone you're building around. So it is what it is. The cornerback position, there's a lot of youth, but there's not a lot of things to, like, lean on. As we've talked about it before, like, there's the press coverage. We talked about how we just generally can't press anyone. Where is it? The man coverage is all just kind of, ugh. Like, 80s is the whatever. Like, you got to go up 10 points just to get to the bottom of 90. Right? They're just all kinds of, press. You've got two decent press players. Decent. But remember, we've got, like, Dwayne Bowe and other guys who have, like, 98 release. Like, you're not going to compete against that. So you can just kind of press some guys who may or may not be ready for it. And you can kind of play a little bit of man and a little bit of zone. But anyone who's good is going to cook you. Like, you don't have guys that are actual lockdown corners or anything. We don't have anything at the safety position. 75 and 70. It's not just about the overall ratings. But I think you get it, is like, what's the strength of our defense? Tyson and an old Jason Babin and Paul Plovslovsny, and the fact that our corners are okay. That's all we got. Our offensive line is Luke and his 4 friends, right? Our running back room is okay guys and a weapon. Our quarterback is like, we'll just do what we can. Our wide receiver room is the backups show, just like no one's a star. No one's the bride, everyone's a bridesmaid. If that makes sense. So, I don't know if OA stuck around to hear the rest of that answer, because it says I have 0 viewers right now, but I appreciate the question. Maybe I rambled on too long for it. Maybe you got your answer and said everybody. Either way, we're back here. We're at dual halfback. We're having Denard Robinson at the fullback position. And the main reason we're doing that, again, just for fun. We're just seeing what we can get. We were going to go with the fullback screen, but I got distracted here, and I added Falcon, and I want to see it. I want to see the animation that they have. And this is me throwing because coach mode doesn't exist. There's the fucking goal line again that I mentioned. At least he doesn't get caught up in the offensive line. And he does escape out. And anything can happen, including incompletions, right? So we got to throw it a little bit better. And we're just getting into him in space.
Let's go. Blue 95.
And there's goal line again. And he's not having too much of a problem escaping out of the line, which is nice. Here's a real situation. They're stacked up to stop the run. And we're going to run it on them. Just kidding, bitch, I gotcha. And we throw it out here, and we just get it to the flats.
Get ready. Red 38.
And we'll never see a defense like that, so it doesn't matter. So it seems to work fine, which is what I was looking for. We're going to look at bench. I added this play to see how they handle it. So I see too high, so we should want Lewis splitting the middle of the field, depending on how the safeties drop. They split the middle of the field, and we get exactly what we want. We split the safeties. Will the computer read that properly? This is single high. We have the corners off the ball. In theory, both of the deep outs could be threats, but they could have linebackers, safeties flowing to the buzz zones underneath. Now, the Seahawks safety to the right, that's close to Lewis here. Can we get a names version? No, we can't get a names version. Basically, what I think is going to be Cam Chancellor, though I think that's actually Earl Thomas right now. That's standing on the 25-yard line outside of Mercedes Lewis. I think he might fall off to cover shorts, whereas on the weak side, that weak side linebacker, 53, I believe, he's in a worse position to cover Blackman. So pre-snap, I think we're going to see Blackman open, but it depends on how they roll their coverage. They drop back, he bails, and we were right that the linebacker couldn't get there, but neither could the quarterback complete the pass. He bailed immediately to go get it, but also how he shuffled and everything is, if this ball is a little bit more accurate, it's just hard for him to cover it from where he's standing, the ground that he has to cover. And then he also does this little shuffle animation, and you do have the space to get that open. But it was what I was predicting in terms of the coverage taking off. I was right. That is Earl Thomas's body, even though it should be Cam Chancellor's position. It is Earl Thomas, and he was able to bracket it and take it away, and we did attack the correct read. And other than that, like, they should have the high-low here, and we don't really have anything. They can take away an in-breaking route here. So, yeah, that's a thing. Now, they're hinting at cover 1 or cover 0. More cover 1, because of the way that the safety went up in the box or some kind of zone roll. So there is the threat of X being taken away, but I think B might be open. And he is, but our quarterback just cannot hit him. So just an option to show you, if this guy pulls back, which he does, he had kind of a better leverage than the other defender who used to be standing here on the previous play. Like, we have some guys in a better position to truly bail, though he doesn't, and we could have completed it. Whereas on this side, we don't really have that threat. And as they double dropped back, it looked like kind of a cover 4. And we're asking a defensive lineman to come off the ball. And it's like, if we just throw a good pass, the route is there. And here we just go to a run. And they get us whatever. And we're never going to see this kind of defense, but let's just throw it up for the touchdown. Let's go to a real defense. And there we go. They're rolling to what looks like a cover 1, which again should allow us to hit Blackman. He's coming out of his break slow. I'm not completely blaming Henney here. Like, watch him. He dips, and it feels like he's running in sand. Like, here, he's like, right there. You feel that? Like, I'm not changing the speed of the animation. They're like, step, 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 step. Whoa, it just feels so slow, like he's running in place, and he's not putting any effort in. And then the ball gets away because that's where it's supposed to be thrown. Right? Now they're up on us. This is where we should be able to attack A. And they finally can take it away from us. So I wanted to force that ball for a reason, because we are splitting the safeties. The safeties are bailing, but this is the Tampa 2, and he rides the tight end up the seam and takes it away. So this is where the check down becomes important. You're taking away the outbreaking routes, and you're drawing the attention of the linebacker, which means this is literally where we have to hit the checkdowns. Right? This is the definition of, we've got our 3 targets, and we also have an extra blocker. We've got to be able to hit this little check down. It's just okay to hit the check down. So that's the thing. So I don't know how well the computer is going to be able to run that play, but it works. Comeback slide works. Flanker post. These plays like flanker post, play action dig. Oh yeah, we got to look at play action Atlanta dig because we have a variation of it that's not a play action. Yeah, we have cross in. I want to talk about something else, but this is related to what I want to talk about. Here's regular cross in. You see the inside breaking action by Blackman. And then so he breaks inside, then goes up down the field. He goes up the field, not up down the field, up down. He goes down the field, or he goes up the field, and then breaks at the 15. We have the same in-breaking motion by Shorts, who also goes up the field, but they high-low it. So there's a high-low stretch. And also there's like the drag by Mercedes Lewis. So let's just drop back, and then we're going to press the B button. I don't care if it gets picked. We're just going to press the B button because we're going to look at what happens here as Henny goes do Chopovich drop. So we have like a line of defenders, like doop, like all this lines of defenders, and they're just running the route for us, right? And inside, they're just beating all the inside breaking leverage. All the inside leverage is completely taken away. Everything is taken away. We have nothing. We have an outside guy. We have nothing. This is one thing I don't like about certain plays here, is if you have absolutely nothing, then we need to change the play. It says in the replay, the wide receiver had the corner beat, but he stopped sprinting for a brief moment. Yeah, exactly. That's a whole other issue. Yeah, I agree with you. But here's the thing about this play, because we're on to this next play, is if everyone is beat, what kind of play is this? Like, you don't have an answer. The play doesn't have built-in answers. That's the problem. Like, if you see this cover one defense, you're just like, oh, everything is fucked, you know? So where do I go? Who's my option? Who's my check down? Who's my hot? Nobody. Like, you don't want a play that just has a random chance of just doing nothing, right? You usually want answers to one coverage on one side of the field and answers to another coverage on another side of the field. And you want, like, what they call, like, the second play within a play. Like, as the play breaks down, you want to have, like, the features. So now we're going to run the exact same route combination play, but out of play action. And we've got a very similar look. Will the play action suck up linebackers or allow players to get open? Well, now it's not man, it's zone, so that's not fair, right? Maybe we get to call a man, let's cover one high or something like that. So let's do the play action version. Let's go to a 4-3 like this. And let's call a cover one robber. So they should be like that, right? Play action. Now, is that the robber? Is that what they called against us before when we got, like, all destroyed? I mean, that's what it looks like. But this time they're not, like, beating us the inside leverage. It still looks like this this receiving threat, the tight end, is definitely getting the route run for him. And that's a problem over here. But for some reason previously, they beat our inside leverage. They killed us. We're here. They're letting us, like, destroy them. So I'm wondering if that's like the same play that just destroyed us last time. If I go I form normal and I call the basic play again, I say, where is it? Say cross ends. I go 4-3 normal, and I say cover one robber. He gets open, but I think even though it's the same play, they're, like, more on us. Like, we have to get open in, like, this tightest window. I think the play action works a little bit better here. I really think that's what's going on. You say the play looks hopeless. Yeah, I know you're talking about the previous one, but yeah, it does. And so that's why we got to go to practice. We can say something looks nice on paper, but how does it actually perform on tape? You know, here is play action weak flood. And this is connected to everything I was talking about before. You also, again, see the inside breaking routes by Blackman and Shorts. Like, they take off at an angle. But previously, Blackman was breaking inside, and Shorts was running into the post. Now, Shorts is breaking on the dig, the inside, and Blackman is going to the flag or the corner. So they have a completely different break. Even though the tight end and the fullback are running different routes, it's like, okay, are you going to stop us on one play? Well, then we'll just have a completely different stem on the same route combinations. We'll do this, and now you're running inside dig like that, right? So that's also part of the point here, is like playing the rock, paper, scissors game with them and having the plays break in different directions. So the play that looked absolutely hopeless crosses in. Let's look at it again just briefly. Here's the art. Inside break, the stem at 15 yards breaks across the middle for Justin Blackman. The inside break for Shorts breaks to the post, you know, at the same point. So with that in mind, let's then go to FL post. So it's not identical. I get that. You also have the break by Blackman, who stems it out earlier. Thing is, Shorts doesn't have that same inside break. So I want to see if there's something more comparable as a drop back pass to keep everything else honest. And I don't see it here. There was a reason why I had some of these plays to keep things honest. Corner strike. I think corner strike is it. Corner strike doesn't have as extreme of an inside break, but it definitely has a different stem. And as we drop back, and it's a dropped pass, you can see we get drop back here, and we haven't finished our stem. Well, I guess we're finishing our stem here, right? But part of the point is this receiver, inside break, up the seam. Well, it's not really the seam, but he could break out. He could break here to the flag. He could break to the post. He could break across the middle of the field. He breaks across the middle of the field. So he can stem in many directions, or even just sit in a little hooking curl and sit in the zone. He's got so many places that he could go, right, as he's trying to stem this route. And the same thing here. Is he going to go to the post? Is he going to try to bend it inside? Is he going to bend it towards that front pylon? Is he going to break it out? Right? The threat of not knowing where he's going to go is supposed to be the whole point of this. And part of the other point is not being repetitive, like only having one version of it. But knowing that your guys could stem in any combination of plays because you have them all in your book, and making them respect those combinations, and hopefully calling the right play out of it is also part of it. So there's the corner strike, the cross in, the FL post is not 100% there. So that's like part of the point, I guess. And then, so we mentioned the weak flood version. Here's the X post. So this is where, again, we've seen him drag. We've seen him run to the flag route area. We've seen him run out. We've seen him run in. Like, we've seen him run in various forms. And we've seen Cecil Shorts run this route off of play action. Right? But we've seen him post, and we just saw him run out. So we've seen the specific route, but play action style. And while Lewis is not dragging, I think we can also just tell him to drag. And he just drops back like that. And then we catch it, you know, in the little pocket like that. And that's part of the point is like, okay, we still got a guy going out to the flats. We still have the tight end dragging like before. Right? But we just have different stems. Who's doing what? In this case, it's Cecil Shorts here in the little pocket. right? Those are some of the goals there, is just keeping the defense honest. Like, oh, every time he has an inside break, he's only going to do this route. No. I can do all kinds of routes on you. Right? I can have X and I can have Z having a lot of fun here on you. So I talked about this next point in the playbook section. Let's see it in action. We are on the 30-yard line going towards the end zone. We want to drop back. We're pushing the coverage. We get the catch. And we get to the 10-yard line. So let's respot the ball. Game options. Practice options. Respot ball. Let's put it about the 20. Okay? So we're at the red zone. Some teams call it the green zone. We drop back. We hit our final step. We throw here. And we get in the end zone. Right? It didn't take much yards after the catch. It didn't take much yak bros. Did our final step. Fire it. Catch it. And then maybe we get tackled at the 2 or whatever. Maybe we score. We make a little evasive, little whoop. But we get in the end zone. Because from 30 yards out, then we're just getting to the 10 or the 5. And now we've got like a goal line situation. We've got to physically punch it in. Bill Walsh said it's a lot easier to just like try to throw for the end zone from 20 yards out than it is trying to like hand the ball off and beat your head against a wall to get in the end zone. Like, this is how he wants to score touchdowns. Of course, it helps that the quarterback can put the ball in the right spot because he's technically wide open, but that's just an ugly pass. And it's also because I have the settings as all Madden with 15 accuracy. But you can see he's not leading him properly. He's underthrowing it, all of that. But there's just wide open grass. Like, this is a wide open score, and it's a touchdown shot, right? So the threat of that, them trying to take that away, is why we also then add the extra layer of Z close with the, where is it? That's the regular one, Z close shake. Okay? So the threat of that route for B and then bending it back inside is what we want to try to get wide open as well. So we want to be able to drop back. And while it doesn't get open, you can kind of see Sherman here trying to stop that corner, right? As we drop here and it's like, hey, and Sherman's like, I'm not giving you the green grass, right? You're not getting the green grass. The problem is, can we have kind of a high-low bracket, and it is a tight window to throw in, but we're also trying to draw coverage off with this route. So if we can draw this attention here, we might be able to cross the back of this linebacker and throw the ball here. Like, get the ball out here or something and catch it and run in the end zone. But we also need, like, time to throw. That's the other problem, is how long it takes the route to develop. This is the I'm ready to throw position. So I need to be reminded the controls. What is the pump fake? Next page, pre-snap, passing, ball carrier, the option, defense, pass defense, run defense, kicking, kick returns, audibles. Is there like, what is the pump fake button? Pump fake is LB. Okay. Marshawn Lynch would disagree with which one? I'm willing to hear you out. What thing did I say? But, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think you meant about, like, banging your head against the wall. Yeah, Lynch would disagree, but also did you know that Lynch is one of the most inefficient runners in short yardage situations? Like, that's just the facts. Like, for whatever number of carries, like a minimum number of carries, Lynch is one of the worst short yardage backs of all time. The thing is with Lynch, people don't like to hear it. Like, call me crazy if you want. I would sound like a crazy man. When I watch his highlights, I see him breaking arm tackles. And the reason he breaks arm tackles is he was so elusive and had such great vision that he put linebackers in situations where they couldn't just square up and hit him. Right? He had horizontal movement and great vision and great footwork that he didn't allow defenders to just square him up in an alley. I believe it was Ryan Clark that said something like square me up in an alley with Marshawn Lynch and I'll tackle him. You know, because you could, if you actually had him squared up in a tackle drill and an Oklahoma drill. Like, I couldn't. But if you're an NFL starting, like, defensive player. But the thing is, Lynch was so good, he wouldn't let you get squared up. That's what I'm saying. Like, he knew his leverage and angles so well. He was so talented, had such great vision, that he didn't let you square him up. He put you in a position where you're arm tackling through his legs. And he would stiff arm you and all of that. Which, again, a stiff arm is an angle, a leverage thing. Right? You don't stiff arm someone that's tackling you, you know, shoulder to chest. Right? It's you put yourself at a 45-degree angle or whatever, and then you stiff arm their face mask or whatever. So, like, Lynch was really bad at short yardage because that's when you could just square him up in an alley and he wasn't going to win that fight. Lynch got you between the 20s. Lynch got you 5 yards or outside of 5 yards where he had some space to maneuver, and the defense had to be spread out horizontally and vertically because the end zone is 10 yards long, so you also have 15 yards of field to cover, and he could really do damage in space, but he doesn't have space. So let's see if we can keep trying this play a little bit before we move on. You can also see how this is kind of like a fade with Blackman, so that even this play is designed to kind of score from 20 yards out. We drop back, he makes that little move, and it's kind of there, but I need to do the pump fake. I need to drop back and then be like, oh, I'm throwing here, but I'm not getting the protection for the double move. I think this play wants you to go to that later. It's not asking you to go for it now. But look at this. Like, we have the air quote like perfect protection. We get our last step and we're locked up and we have time for you to go through an entire pump fake, and finally we get pressure on you and you're still not actually ready to throw. Like, you're barely ready to throw here, so there's a problem. We might just have to cut this play because it takes too long to develop. Andre D says, see, that's why I come to your channel. No one else breaks the business down to the teeth. Love the passion about the game. You the man, and you go back to historical stats. Speaking of Ryan Clark, remember he said he called out Derrick Henry habits of being disrespectful towards DBs and all that. Yeah. Love the comments. Absolutely. And I appreciate the love. I'll say controversial things, not because I'm trying to be controversial, but I have my own opinion. I don't just sit there and let everyone tell me. Like, I know what I see. And you know what? I'm fine with being wrong. Like, show me some facts or show me whatever, and I'll listen to you. And I'm like, okay, I disagree, or you know what, you got a point. I didn't look at that. Like, I'm okay with being wrong. It's like, there's no ego here. Like, I'm not like Nick Wright or someone who's like, I'm going to find a hill to die on, Max Kellerman, whatever. Right? Let's drop back to throw. Let's hit the pump fake. And yeah, no, we're probably going to have to shit can this play just because it takes too long to develop. And even when it's developing, like, what are we really doing? Like, this should have just been thrown. I mean, I'm willing to just throw it to B at a certain point. Let's just actually just throw it. Just drop back and say, okay. Right? I guess we can just do that. I guess we can just watch it. Okay. Right? Like, fuck it. Who cares about the double move? Let's just drop back. But this is the part about having a user-controlled quarterback versus a computer-controlled quarterback. Ooh! Bro, you should have seen the leverage and just know that I'm going to throw it to you. Okay, that was a little nasty. That was nasty. Like, just throwing it. Fuck the double move, bro. It's all random. Fuck the double move. Stop me. Do something.
Let's go. Wide 88.
Do something. But this is human controlled, right?
Wide 88.
If I want to play coach mode, right? And then that looks like a miscommunication. But it's like, this is how you just put up points. It's like, if I can get in the red zone and I can just see random plays here, because it should be set to random. Let me double check here. We're going to go I formation. And we're going to call Z close shake. And we're going to hit random play. We're just going to drop back. Okay, he got popped. That's a little bit of a hospital ball. Okay, that's an interception. So maybe it wasn't set to random. Maybe I already had a play set. But yeah, you just like, you just read it and you're like, okay, I'm going to throw to B.
Well, let's go. Wide 88.
Yeah, I'm just going to get touchdowns like this.
Well, let's go. Blue 95. Blue 95.
OA here says, and then there's the clip of, oh no, it's the same one, but yeah, like, yeah. Sometimes it looks like it's a new message. Yeah, I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to user this. Like, stop me, can you? The one pick, I mean, that's a turnover in the red zone, so that sucks. Ooh, I like that one. See, I'm trying to force it. I'm trying to see what works and what doesn't work. What I was trying to do on that interception was not throw a pick, obviously, but to throw with bullet passively down. But he jumped. See, I don't like how high that was. I was trying to throw it inside to shorts like here for him to like have the ball like physically placed here, not up and high like that. That's like way too high. That might just be the video game accuracy, like what I told it to do or what I thought I told it to do versus what it actually did. Yeah, I wanted more of a contested catch like that.
Well, let's go. Red 38.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if the play breaks down, where are we going? Because I know that we've got the hot read early, and I didn't want to throw that hot read like that. And I still don't like how the pressure can get to us, but I do like how he can break open like this, like kind of turning it into a variation of a slant. Like, that's so deadly. I don't want to get caught on just running the same play over and over again. But you can also see, yeah, I just don't like the time it takes.
Let's go. Red 38.
I don't like the time it takes. And it's also, you're just staring down one receiver, right? Like the whole time, you're like, Mercedes Lewis was open ball. Like you're trying to look for the touchdown, and you're just letting this go. Yeah, I know you've got to read the coverage, but that's part of practice is you're trying to run this and you're trying to look for how much time do you have, when does it break open, like is there an opportunity? Like, when it comes to game day, you're going to drop back, and you're going to be like, do I have the corner? Not? Okay, let's check it down. So, yeah, maybe it's like it becomes our first read and then our third read. We have to treat it like that. We just drop back, and it's like our 1 and our 3. We go from 1 to receiver quick, 2 to tight end, and then 3 back to the receiver on the shake. Right? Maybe that's what we have to do.
Get ready. Red 38. Red 38.
You said, is passly the same thing as maximum passing 25? Maximum passing in 2K5, that's what you said, 2K5. In 2K5 is a very special feature, and there's more precision. You can do more as a user with that. It's just Madden is like, if you press the button of the receiver, you can lead it like maximum passing, yes. But I feel 2K5 had more precision. I guess that's the only way I can explain it. But it's very similar, yes. So it's still interesting. It's probably not a good play for the computer to run, but it's a nice play for the user to run. Okay? Something I talked about before we were in practice was this play. If you zero out the center, now we basically have the tackle and the guard helmet on helmet with the linebacker and the defensive lineman. I don't care about the other defender outside of our tackle because we're just trying to hat on hat the 3 guys in the middle. And we're just like, we want to just try to get the ball handed off here. If we had a little more speed, I don't know. It's also we're using Denard Robinson. It's like one of the potential goals is just running between 76 and 78. Just that little physical space right here. Just run between these two shoulders, you know, to daylight. And don't give this guy a chance to do anything. But is this like Meebane or whoever? Yeah, it's Meebane. He's what stops us from running that thing to daylight. Right? Here, we don't want it as much. Right? We can try it. The problem is the double team, and we just fumbled. The way the double team laid up, like, we don't want the fullback run all the time. 78 didn't help us out. We double team, and then we just got killed by Bobby Wagner. But I like having the fullback run in there if they're trying to stack against the strong side runs. So right now we're going to cut like misdirection in a few different plays here. Play action fullback screen is what we were trying to set up earlier before we got distracted. So we're going to hand it off weak side and oops, gotcha bitch. Now we're going to like throw the little screen out here. And that's why we have the dual halfbacks. Okay, let's run it weak. Actually, it's a pass. Gotcha, bitch. And we're throwing a touchdown. We didn't make it. Wagner got us. Let's go. 38. Hey, let it roll. Let it roll. Let it roll. Sometimes you just need like a few yards for a first down, whatever. It works just fine. We're not going to take a lot of time with these plays. Okay, fullback flare, that should be pretty obvious. Probably just need to run it once, drop back, he escapes, we throw it to him. There's many choices that we can go to, but we're getting the fullback involved, and the fullback doesn't have to be an actual fullback. It can be double running backs or whatever. Okay, those are fine. We did the Falcon, we did the bench. Comeback slide should be easy. We can even flip it. It should be easy to go. We've talked about flanker post and dig. We've done halfback screen. I was talking about halfback screen before OA started talking about the Bills with me. And so I was discussing how I like this play on the PlayStation 2, on the original Xbox, because as a user, you can manually control like a 3-step drop back and just get it out to shorts here. And again, I can just interrupt the drop back by pressing B. When you see, I don't care that it's a screen. You can just be like, okay, you're going to play off the ball. We're just going to throw it in space. And we're going to pick up 4 or 5 yards. Like, if I run for 4 yards, that's a nice run. If I throw for 4 yards, what's the difference? Now, I don't want him to be a hospital ball. But if you're just going to let me gain 4 yards in the pass or the run, 4 is 4. Okay? So that's one aspect of it. Just being able to quickly throw that. Then you have like the crossing action of the fullback and the tight end messing with things. Now he drops it here, but we're also not going to try to play this against goal line. The idea is, okay, we're not going to shorts, but we might see what A and RB does on our way to the fullback, to the halfback screen, right? So obviously, like, the screen should work because it's the screen, but my eyes are like, before the snap, I'm not throwing it to B. So now I'm watching the fullback and tight end route combination. Is there anything that's just super obvious and open quickly? You can argue there's a toss there. You can argue there's a toss there. But I've already decided to go back to the halfback. Nothing at this point has said clearly one of these guys is going to get wide open. Like, it's muddy. The read is muddy. And that's the thing you have to practice. If the read is unclear, then you're going to the screen. That's it. And so you're dropping back and you're like, I don't know which one, so then go to the screen. Don't hesitate. you either know because it's super obvious, oh yeah, this guy's being uncovered. It's like, no, if they're both being respected, then you just go to the screen. Because that's the point of the screen. But if one of those two guys is just not even being accounted for, there's a blitz, or the zone only has one guy covering two or something, that's what I mean by the read is muddy. They have a defender for each of them. But if they only had one defender because another guy is blitzing, or they're just dropping into a weird zones, then just throw to the wide open, uncovered, unaccounted for player. That's the beauty of it. Right? So that's why I like that play. It doesn't just have to be the screen. It's like 4 different targets that I can legitimately throw to while I'm dropping back. I think the angle routes speak for themselves, and I want to discuss an extra feature here.
Let's go. Spread 38.
Let's call the play. What do we want to call? Let's call angle. Let's go to random.
Spread 38.
And now we're going to respot the ball. So in practice options, respot the ball. We're going to go here on the left-hand side.
Get ready.
What we have
Wide 88.
in PS2 Madden, you can't do this. At least I couldn't figure out a way to do it. You see, this receiver, this Blackman, the receiver, he normally can't go in motion because he's the split end. You can only send a tight end in motion, or this receiver in motion, or a back or someone, but you're normally not allowed to send this guy in motion because he can't go across the formation. But you know what he can do? He can come tight to the formation. He can stand at the top of the numbers. And that matters. Now it gives him physical space to run a lot of routes. So even when you're on the left hash mark, like, you don't have any space to make a move out of here. There's no room. But you're allowed, that's what's great about this game, is just put him in a tighter split. Instead of a wide split, he's in a tighter split towards the top of the numbers. He's not completely at the top of the numbers, but he's not in the middle. He's like 3/4 of the way up the numbers. But it's something. And you can see shorts at the bottom of the numbers or whatever. They have relative equal spacing, and that matters. As we run this route to X, we drop back, and he has space. If we, don't throw a sack pick, whatever, you can see how he was getting open, right? Like, he's burning this. He's running the corner up his hips. He's breaking out, and then there's space to throw it out here, potentially catch it and turn to the flag, right? And that's the point, is you can run the out. You can break down and run the in. You can run to the back pylon. You can run to the post. There's all kinds of ways that you can break down this route, and you have space to do all of them, including just curling underneath the guy or just going over the top of him, right? Putting a double move on him. So that's a really good feature to be aware of. And it's something to add to your repertoire of routes that you can run and alignments. So we do mid-attack. It's the same thing.
Blue 95. Blue.
Put him at the top of the numbers. I'm not going to say at the 3/4 of the numbers, but it's the same thing. You drop back, but there's a different coverage. And he's just, I'm leading outside, and maybe I shouldn't lead outside. Maybe I should even try to lead back inside. But again, he's breaking open, and he's got space to move. That's the other thing. Like, he can kind of break open here. Like, we drop it, and it's like he can make a sideline catch. We're not throwing the best physical passes. It's not that they can't get open. He mixes the cut, and then there's a possibility of him being in position to make a sideline catch and fall down. The thing is, by putting him at the top of the numbers, he has space to make the catch and run. So now when we drop back, we hit, well, we just get hit as we're trying to throw,
Get ready.
right?
Wide 88.
Now we're getting pressed, so we're probably not going there. We're maybe looking for Lewis or the angle route, but we're still willing to drop back, and yeah, we're throwing the angle route and blah, blah, blah. But you get the point,
Well, let's go.
right?
Blue 95.
So
Blue.
No. Unfortunately, you can't make two motions. So that's my point, is now he had space. I decided to pass lead inside.
Blue 95.
And I wonder here if we want to fade against that. Yeah, we do. So why did I pick fade and what happened there? I saw outside leverage here, and the fade goes to the back pylon to a degree, and I wanted to pass lead to the left. Pass lead outside and away from the safety. And because of that, they're going to cover this part of the field anyway. So our best chance is to kind of go to that back pylon area. And the fade does that. And then just lead them out away. Because I don't see a corner route. There's flat, hitch, drag, all that stuff. But there's fade. He nearly came down with that one. It's not an every time money down look, but that inside leverage, like right here, like pressed and all that, you're like, okay, let's just attack this part of the field. Right? Now he's off. We might be going B, by the way, but let's just drop back. Yeah. I'm not going to spend too much time on it beyond that, but I've shown different variations for you, so I hope that's interesting. Okay. We've looked at a lot of plays here, and the other formation that we wanted to look at, is there any other play that we haven't done? I want to talk about that. FL Smoke. Okay. I just treat this like the screenplay. If they're off the ball, we'll just snap it as is, and if they're not, then we need to audible. And that's why we have a run audible in both directions, and then we've got some other pass audibles. Here is if we're in the Z close, we can just run audible out of it. So this is, if they're not giving us flanker smoke, then we're going down the field more, right? Inside release and then splitting out and everything. And let's see how well he handles this at the top of the numbers, right? We drop, and he goes like that. Ooh. Good on the defense, but that was wide open if Henny can just throw an accurate pass. But there you go. Top of the numbers, and then angling in, and then how he breaks out. Like, he causes separation. But that ball you can see is even behind him. He's got to turn his body and go to the back hip instead of having it out in front. Like, that's a good play with bad ball placement. It's a good read with bad ball placement, right? That's not going to be a touchdown, but that's a good one. And that's what I mean, like, flanker smoke is just like, okay, fine. You're not going to give us flanker smoke, then I'll run the other plays, right? I'll see if Lewis is just open over the middle as we're dropping back, and he is, and we're just going to give it to him. And that's the point with flanker smoke, is it's just like we have to treat it like our screenplay. And now they're off the ball like that. So we just go whoop, and we're picking up 4 yards or whatever, right? Is that what we want? It's like first down, now it's 2nd and 6. We get 3, we get 4, we do whatever. It's a little hospital ball-y, but that's the idea. Right? We just treat it like the screen, but without screen blockers. That's why the FL Smoke is there. It is a huddle call play. You call it in the huddle, and then you just audible out of it if you don't like it. I think we've covered all the other plays here. I mean, quick slants is really self-explanatory. Oh, we didn't do end around. We haven't done end around. End around we added because we wanted to, we can't do this whole thing with adjusting Blackman. We wanted to see if end around can work because there's the end around fake and there's the end around play action. And we're not going to run end around against a goal line. It's not happening. Now, I can tell you, I have no faith in the end around working. I think I've tried it in the past. I don't like it. Here's that thing I mentioned also earlier in a video where I said, imagine a vertical line bisecting the offense. We have 3 defenders to the left of center, 4 defenders to the right of center. We also have Earl Thomas as a 4th defender. He's not quite in the box, but he's within the 10 yards. We go across the formation. We hand it off to our guy. And at best, we're getting 3 to 4 yards. We end up going out here. We get like everybody blocking, if you want to call it that. They're being asked to block for a long time. And we're doing all of that work for like a bumbly 4-ish yards. And we're not going to run it there. Wow, we just get completely destroyed there. So there we go. 4 to the right of the center, 3 to the left of center. And then we just go against that weak side of that run, and we're getting 2 yards. Like, what are we doing? That's what I mean when I say it doesn't work. Like, this is what we want. We want the defense stacking up against the strength of the run. We want to put the wide receiver in motion. We want the defense biting on this run action, which we're not even selling the run well when you consider it, right? Like, he's outrunning the fake by Henney. But what I mean, the linebackers bite. They start moving towards the run. They're moving away from the reverse. It's not really reverse, but they're running away from the end around, right? Smith is going away from the end around, and he's got to chase it. And that's part of the point here, right? Smith moves like this, and then he gets picked up, and he's not allowed to be involved in the play. Right? The ball carrier is moving that direction, and Smith is getting blocked like that. Like, he shouldn't make a tackle. And that's the whole point of this, is while there's 3 to the side, he gets peeled off. So now you've only got 2 here. 2 versus 2 with a hat on a hat. He can slip the block, and you've got Earl Thomas helping. Like, do you really want Earl Thomas to, like, screw you up inside? And we're not getting a good block out of our fullback, even the fast fullback of Denard Robinson. We're getting our block shed, and we're just getting nothing. Like, when we get everything working for us, we still get nothing. Right, and that's what I mean, Earl Thomas just, like, ending our fucking day, man. Right? We get everything. We get hats on a hat across the board. We get the end around, and Earl Thomas just goes chunk. Right? Like, is that not our thumbnail here? Right? Just blowing our guy up. Right? So it's like, we get everything we want, and it's still not good enough. That's why we don't do the end around, baby. Okay? So now we want to look at the other aspects. We want to look at tight end flip. We said we wanted flip like here where we change the strength. So he shifts, and we want to run inside because all the defense was outside. Like, whatever, it works just fine. We go to another play. And then we go to the play action boot out of that. Do we like it? I don't. I don't like the fact that Cecil Shorts can't move to the top of the numbers. So do we respot the ball? Let's go practice options. Respot the ball here.
Let's go. 188. 188.
We send in motion. We go like that. And then we get it swatted away even against goal line. Great. Going in motion. We're going to run the football. Aha, just kidding. We're going to run the comeback interception pick 6. Like, is that the ideal play here? We're going to run it. Oh no, I tricked you. You sacked me.
Get ready. Red 38. Red 38.
They're at the box. We're going to run it strong side. Just hand it off. Just run the damn ball. Oops, pick six it. Like, I'm throwing to the primary receiver. Again, it's practice mode. It's not me, like, botching the read. It's me just trying to show off, like, it's a run. No, it's a fake. Oh, it's the comeback. It's Superman, right? Because, like, here he's doubled. We're getting the comeback, and the corner is just chewing it up. So, I guess we're throwing this down the seam. Yeah, it's getting picked here. And it felt like the seam was really bad as well. Like, I can double check the seam right here, but it felt like the seam was getting high load as well. Yeah, like, you've got inside leverage here, and it's an inside breaking seam route. You're not throwing it over this guy's head back here, but we can try it.
Blue 95.
Yeah, they're throwing picks.
Get ready. Red 38. Red 38.
Yeah, that should be covered here. And the way he's like auto rolling out is also really weird. Like, watch what the quarterback is doing. I'm not doing that. He's just like auto going like, whoop, I'm gonna back foot, throw trash. This is the only time that the Cecil Shorts route actually legitimately got open. Right? He legitimately got open. But it's trash. I really think the entire like play set is trashy. Right? Because the last one is play action Panthers in. Because there's also like an in and up version. So maybe we want to respot the ball here to closer to the 30-yard line. Because if there's an in and up, then we want to actually be able to throw deeper down the field. But as the primary, like back across the middle to the tight end across the formation, he's not even open at that point. Right? Like, the idea is tight end goes across the formation. We're going to hand it off. Oops, gotcha, bitch. It's actually a pass. And he's right over the middle of the field, not breaking open yet. And again, I'm not blaming him. It's not that he's running slow. It's just we do this entire action. We're set up, ready to go. We're not booty naked or anything. And we're just not in position to make any throw as they come and get us. Like, we might have that in, maybe. But I don't like it at all. So, I think we're wrapping it up here. We've seen all those variations. And I don't like the tight end flip. Tackle over. We got rid of the Niners heavy. So, we're just willing to try the tackle over look. Halfback ISO, the power O, like a few variations. I'm going to try those another time. It's getting close to midnight my time. As I said, this is my birthday eve video, and the family is getting things ready for a celebration. They love to say happy birthday at midnight. So part of the fun is not just to be with you, but also just to have me out of the living room. And just talking ball and all that. And then this tight formation, I only called one play so far, because that's the only play that was like the novelty that I thought would be a lot of fun. So you just draw it back, and is it actually fun? I don't know. I think I'm going to cut plays. And I can cut those plays off camera. But there's a lot of plays I want to cut. I hope this was informative. I hope it was fun. I had a good time with you. I hope you had a good time with me. I see more comments that I want to address. I'm not ignoring you, Andre. It says, is this the current gen Xbox you're playing this on? And happy birthday, bro. Thank you so much. It's the Xbox 360. I have a modified 360 with the Aurora dashboard. It says go to the Aurora home. So you can see here. I have an original Xbox, and there's something with the hard drive that I need to get checked out. So you can see here, it's like modified, and I've got games on it, like across the board installed. And I still have room. I have some original Xbox games installed on it, so I can at least play some of them while my original Xbox isn't working. And I love my sports games. I uninstalled NCAA 07. They didn't make an 06. And I have all the NCAA games for that. And then I also have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 again. But these are the retro versions. So I can literally go 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8 on the 360, 8 on the Xbox original, 7, 6, 5, and 4. 3 could be installed, but it glitches out, errors out when you actually try to play a game or practice. So I uninstalled it because it doesn't like work backwards compatibility. Otherwise, I'd have 03 all the way to 14 on the same console. And then when it comes to Madden, I uninstalled 11. I should probably reinstall it. But I basically have 15 and 14 and no 13. I have 12. I should reinstall 11. 10, 9, 8. I did Madden at Christmas where I played 6 and 7 and then showed you how bad they were and then uninstalled them for disk space. And then I have other football games. I have Blitz the League, and I have Backbreaker, and I have Tecmo Bowl and ESPN, and I have other football games. But I have fun doing this with you and doing the franchise. So that's it. Yeah, we're about 20 minutes out, and my wife came in silently to give me kind of the signal. It's good for me to wrap this up. So thank you so much. I'll see you all next time I go live, which might be tomorrow, my birthday. It might be Thursday or Friday. Might be the weekend. We'll find out. But even if you miss it, you can still catch it afterwards. I really appreciate y'all. See you next time.